Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Feed with your host, Richard Santiago. Live Feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher. For all your digital resources, check out travelingtechteacher.com. Also brought to you by theBULLYexposed.com, a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying, so let them help you. So today we got hip hop recording artist ABSYTE on the feed today. So let's see if we can connect with her. See if we can invite her on the show. Give me a second here, guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. All right, so I sent her an invite. Let's while we're waiting for her to come on, let's check out some of her music. And she is on already, so awesome. She's fast, ready to go. So let's play one of her songs while we give her an invite. How you doing, Absence? So let's see. Oh, okay. Everyone joining the show. Hey, how you doing? ABSYTE, yes, ABSYTE. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. How are you doing today?
Good.
That's good. That's good. So all the way from Brooklyn, New York, right?
Yep.
Brooklyn's in the house, everyone. So how many total? I was looking. How many total albums do you have now, or EPs?
Well, including the ones that I did back in the day, I think I have 9 total projects. I released 5 independent projects in Chicago. I had a major album release in 2004 that went worldwide. And then I came back to music in 2015 and released 4 more independent projects. I had an EP called Sucker Season, and then I released 3 albums, 2 in 1 year, Life, Mirror, and oh gosh, I'm forgetting the third one. But I released a lot of different singles and things like that, and you know, just trying
Wow.
to move moving, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, just trying to stay busy. I feel you on that. That's for sure. So when did this whole career start for you? How far back are we talking in Chicago?
We talking about being exposed to hip hop in '93. It was my boy. We were in college, and he wanted to give me an opportunity to express myself. He thought I was a great entertainer, and so he took me to his boy, who was a fireman by day and a DJ by night at Bradley University, and it started from there. So shout out to Mario Proctor, because he was the one that kind of got me to hip hop a long time ago.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So you're living in New York now. What made you move from Chicago to New York?
So I have 2 bachelor's and a master's degree in enterprise information systems. I'm currently a product manager for MasterCard, and
Oh, okay.
that's my day job. That's what allows me to be able to travel all around the world. And also it affords my small business as a artist. And so I've done those 2 things for now going on 20 years, and every
Oh,
corporate I've worked for has been very supportive of my music career. Even though I took a serious hiatus from music in a domestic violence situation in 2006. So I actually left my pursuit of music. Hey, Colin, how you doing? Hey, Jeff. Um, I left music because of that domestic violence situation, and it was sad because I had to focus. It wasn't sad that I had to focus on my child, but it was sad that this guy took away a part of my soul He's continued to chase me and make my life miserable for the last 15 years. And I've had to look over my shoulder. And I actually stopped dating because of it. So coming to New York was just coming to the East Coast was a part of me standing up for myself and not living within a victim mentality anymore. And
That's important.
yeah, and it was also because I got recruited to come out here because somebody thinks I'm good at what I do in IT. And then when I started pursuing music, the same thing happened. When I put my EP out, I got a lot of love from people like The Roots, Ray Angry, um, just a host of celebrities in the game, people that I knew that knew I still had the gift. And even though I was older, they didn't really care about that. They just let me do my thing.
That's good. That's so good to hear. Wow, that's awesome. So, one time you go, I don't know if it's an actual show that you do, but you do some lives as well, and I really enjoy watching them. I like your take on the world in general.
Yeah.
But I can remember one that really touched me real hard when you were trying to go and vote, and it was all delayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it doesn't seem like that to me, like that happened by mistake or some type of error or some kind of fluke that just happened. That seems very sketchy to me. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's complicated, obviously. Our country, being a democracy, has always had this to the victors goes the spoils attitude. And so we have a two-party system. And I have worked for major candidates before, like Barack Obama. I was a volunteer for him for 8 years. And this is a part of the landscape. Now, what makes this different right now is that we have someone who has shown sympathies to white supremacy. And
Okay.
so higher administration has actually almost represents themselves as a coup d'etat in America right now. So you're seeing not just the normal political warfare that's going on, you're actually seeing a commandeering of our Constitution. You're
Yeah.
a takeover of all of there's a term called honor box system here in the United States, and our voting is really based on that honor box system. It's a belief that everyone in this country should and um, that because we're have to go. But what you've been seeing over the last 3.5, 4 years now is back Republican and and it's gotten so bad that I'm gonna just give you this brief thing really quickly. I work for MasterCard, and today, post this later if I get permission to do so. They literally had a slide up talking about African American, issues being more inclusive, and the fact that 99.6% of the Republican Party received an F rating from the NAACP with regards to their support of issues
Mm.
related to African Americans. So going back to that video that I posted, yeah, you absolutely see diversionary tactics to not only take us off the rolls, but to slow our machines, to make sure that they're not working, to make sure that election judges are hampered. We just saw a federal judge in New Jersey, her son was murdered. And those cases that she was actually governing over are cases that were involving Trump. So one was the Jeffrey Epstein case with the child molestation. Another one was I think she's involved some kind of way with the Southern District of New York and their cases against Trump. And then there's also gang related cases, and it's fucked up because, excuse my language, but it's messed up because in this political climate, with us having COVID, everybody being stuck in the house, people protesting and showing civil disobedience, the voting situation is yet another thing laid on top of that that's trying
Right.
to prevent us from voting. So it's not just affecting African Americans. Right now, what you're going to see in this march from now to November is a total blackout against any American that decides to vote against Trump.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to ABSYTE live on the feed. So I refer to you as hip hop recording artist. Is that how you view yourself as well, or?
I do live in between two worlds. I'm a mother of a 19-year-old. I work in IT, obviously, and that's one life. But music is my therapy. Music has been my saving grace. It allows me to talk about social political issues that I've always wanted to express, but it allows me to talk about so much more, like love and things that in hip hop, sex sells, and it probably always will, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the fact of the matter is that I think hip hop has always been a universal global thing that has always allowed voices that are not necessarily a part of the commercial mainstream. So, yeah, I definitely would say that I'm a recording artist. I definitely believe that I have the respect of the industry, of those that know that I've been grinding for a long time. And it's really cool seeing the technology advancements today, because I had been preaching to all my friends about having plan Bs, plan Cs, plan Ds when pursuing your music, because your music is lifelong, right?
Right.
It's never going to go away. So for you to act like you can't, that you still don't have to pay bills and, pay rent is kind of silly, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, I say that because I know that nowadays there's like this huge gap or difference in some people's eyes between rap and hip hop. Is there a difference between the two in your eyes,
I
or are they
think
one and the
made
same?
a difference. I think you know, I don't know that rap was always a word. If you go back to the South Bronx and 1973, the summer of 1973, when there was this explosion of expression of New Yorkers that were fighting against the system, and especially in the South Bronx, those parties, those house parties that we all learned about, that we all emulated from different places, they were really, they were based on the DJ. The DJ was the star, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
the MC was the guy that kind of helped the DJ out, you know what I'm saying? And I think over the 46 years of hip hop, um, obviously we've evolved and we've taken hip hop into this new direction where we microwaved the expression of what it meant to be an MC, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now, probably right around the 90s, did you start hearing people call themselves a rapper? I don't really care if people call me a rapper or an MC, but I definitely say that I embody that of an MC because I care about my lyrics. Some of your average rappers don't really care about the lyrics that they spit, and
That
that's,
is true.
yeah.
That is true. Yeah, that's funny that you say 1973 in the Bronx. 1973, I was living on 174th Street in Hammond Avenue at that time. So that's funny that you bring that up. And I do remember the rappers, or getting together at the community center in the projects and rapping together, and then later on finding out that it's like KRS-One and African Bombada and all them. And I didn't, nobody knew who they were back then. They were just a bunch of guys, getting together and doing what they love. So
Yeah,
that's my memory. That will always be my memory of the South Bronx, living in the South Bronx.
yeah, no, it's a
So
beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, and you're right there about hip hop always being political and you know the voice of the unfortunately the person that's being forgotten, and that is so true. Do you remember when they were saying hip hop was just a fad and it will go away soon? Do you remember those
Absolutely,
days?
absolutely. I grew up in that era, so I remember listening to people like Kool Mo D and the Wild Wild
Yeah,
West. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
you know,
The,
I don't know, you know, like MC Light back in the day, and yeah, I mean, you know, back then it went from a disco thing in the 70s, which I wasn't a part of. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I was too young. But then in the
too young.
80s, it became a commercialization thing. And once it became a commercialization thing, then I think people outside of the neighborhoods really found out about it. Like I was in Chicago, we were always digging in the crates, digging in the underground, trying to go to New York to get the tapes. We would come to the bodegas, and the dudes would be out with the tapes, and we would grab them shits, you know what I'm saying, and go back to the crib
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, nigga, I got this shit, nigga, you know what I'm saying? This hot off the press, this ain't even on the radio,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
But then when it started to become commercialized, people was like, "Oh, that's just a fad. It'll never last." And what they really failed to realize was that it became a part of our DNA. It spoke to who we were as African and Latino people, and it spoke to us in a way that others were not speaking for us. Like right now, we got
Right.
this big thing where everybody's talking about Black and Brown lives matter, you know, because they've seen all of these deaths and seen how we reacted to it. But back then, it was definitely not a fad because it was our only voice. We didn't have a corporate
Right.
voice. We didn't have a financial voice. We didn't have anything other than the shit we were able to create musically or artistically, and from the beatboxers to the break dancers to the graffiti artists to the b-girls to the b-boys to the MCs, all of that became the embodiment of who we were.
That is so true. And